Hi there. Again, my name is Sandra. I actually had a video last week talking about how my life changed in 90 days drastically. Today, I want to talk about the difference between surviving and intentionally rebuilding our lives. Oftentimes, people will use the term, it was meant to be. They might be doing everything they can to try to change their life circumstances. And no matter what they do, things might not be changing. And it's true that maybe it isn't meant to be, but how often do we use that term? Well, it was meant to be. There's nothing I could do, nothing more I could do. And as I said, that could be the case. But at the same time, are we being more of a passive recipient of just what our life circumstances are and not taking action to change things? Is using the term it's meant to be more of a convenient way of just saying, well, there's nothing I could do in my life is what it is. For a long time in my job, for probably the last decade, I had two jobs in particular that they didn't fulfill me at all. I got to meet great people, both in both jobs, worked with great people. Of course, there are positive things to the job, but the jobs just weren't fulfilling me. I wasn't excited about going to work. I wasn't excited about most of what I had to do in the job. What it was very convenient and geographical. One job was right across the street from my house. And the latest job that I had, the one that was across the street from my house, it was during COVID. And we had a lot of our funding from the state. So we got a lot of bonuses from the state during COVID. So it was very comfortable. The finances were there. I enjoyed working with my coworker, but still the job, I just wasn't excited about it. I had a boss who was nice, but she could be her personality could shift. She was very much connected to what does the world outside me think of me, meaning herself. In my opinion, from my viewpoint, she got a lot of her value from her status within the company and what people thought of her. And the reason why I go into someone else's situation is she could at times be very, very nice. And then at other times, if she thought that her way she was going to be perceived in the company from higher ups and whatnot, she could become mean. She would not be supportive. She would side with people that she barely knew. It just was a whole gamut of things. And I eventually got tired of that. So on December 31st of 2025, again, with the culmination of many things over the years that I was there, and other things that came about, I had decided the hit came to me. It is time for me to go. I gave my notice on December 31st of 2025, 2-week notice. And I offered to stay longer if they needed help with anything. They decided not to take me up on that offer, but they allowed me to stay the 2 weeks. But I made that choice without having a backup plan. And it could seem pretty risky or maybe irresponsible of me, but it felt right in that moment to walk away and make that choice. Again, there were circumstances that led up to it. It wasn't a rash decision. It was an inner knowing that I knew it was time to walk away. And it was apropos. It was next day was going to be a new year. So talk about new beginnings. Didn't have much for savings. And I didn't have another job lined up. So I was there for the 2 weeks. And the same time that was happening, my boyfriend was in a nursing home, and he actually, the second week that I had given notice that I was going to be there, he passed away. So I had a lot of things coming about at the same time. But the key point that I want to bring is that, and it may not work for everybody, I'm not suggesting that people should do this, but I knew intuitively in that moment, I don't want to do this anymore. Don't know if I actually really thought about saying to myself, well, I want to be fulfilled now. No, it was just I knew this wasn't the route I needed to go anymore. So, so that started my journey of rebuilding my life, not just my professional life, but my personal life. And I went step by step. Somehow, here it is, July of 2026. That was January of 2026 or December 31st of 2025. And financially, I'm okay. I'm still paying the rent. I'm paying the bills. There's other expenses that I need to pay that over time will take care of themselves with the actions that I take. So the purpose that I want to say with this is, we could say that my life was meant to be, that I was meant to be in that job. And I think to some degree I was. I think I was meant to be in that job for me to make that decision that I made on December 31st of 2025. So the different steps I think that we need to take to start rebuilding our life is to be aware. I was aware while in that position for many years. Oftentimes, as a little side note, there's a spiritual teacher who passed away in 2015, but his name was Wayne Dyer. And he would often say, don't die before you let your music through you. Don't die without leaving your music inside you. Basically meaning is, if you have something you feel you need to share with this world, don't die leaving that not being expressed. And I would often say that to myself. Am I going to stay in this job till I'm 70 years old and I can collect my ultimate Social Security, and let's hope I remain healthy? And I'm still probably going to have to work part-time because Social Security probably isn't going to cover everything then. But in that moment, when I made that decision on December 31st, 2025, unbeknownst really to my conscious mind, I made a big leap. I had been aware, as I said, for quite some time that it wasn't being fulfilled. It wasn't the job that I wanted. So that step I had taken care of. And then the next step was to accept. That's what I felt. This isn't the job for me. This isn't what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. I don't know what the answer is, but I accept that's the place that I'm in now. And in that moment, on New Year's Eve, I decided, kind of bypassed my brain and just came out through my heart. Now's the time to take action. And you can decide and take a small action to change something. You don't have to be as drastic as what I did to walk away from a job. My intuition guided me there. But the smallest of actions, tiny bit of action, can shift the rebuilding process. If someone wants to look for another job or isn't fulfilled in that job, ask yourself, what is it that does fulfill me? What excites me? And ever so small, even if you can't walk away from your current job, ever so small of a step, what can I do right now to get me towards that goal? You can decide to move in a new direction to take you to the life you ultimately want. I've recently heard the saying, I don't know who the author is don't focus on the mountain, just walk the path. So don't try to figure out how it's all going to come together in the end. It's going to unfold. Just take one little step, something that shifts where you are now and brings you that much closer to where you want to go. And don't say or don't think to yourself, well, this isn't going to do anything. In this moment, it is. You're making a shift. You're telling the universe, I'm ready to go in the direction of where my dreams are. And what action can you take? Even if it is about looking for another job, even if it's just opening up, well, I guess we don't open up the newspaper much anymore, but looking online for new jobs in an area that you're interested in. Apply if it feels right. And if you don't hear, that's fine. You're taking the action steps. Research something that you're interested in. If someone's dreamt of directing plays in a theater or whatnot, well, look for theaters in your neighborhood that maybe need volunteers. Any little step can bring you to the ultimate life that you want. We just have to be honest with ourselves that where we're at right now, it's not where I want to be. I accept that I'm in a place right now that I don't want to be. I'm aware. I brought attention to it because awareness brings knowledge and transformation. Awareness is the first step of transformation. So you make yourself aware. You accept that that's where you're at right now. You decide, I'm going to take some small action to get me, ever so small, even the tiniest of breadcrumbs, in the direction of my goal, and then take that action. Again, it doesn't have to be some big momentous action. The tiniest bit can get you to where you want to go and to get you to your ultimate life. I'm still in the middle of this process now. I'm working part-time in retail where I'm on my feet, and I get home at night, my legs are really tired, but I took that action and took that step and trusted I could pay for it, and that I enrolled in a year-long certification course to become a life transformation coach with a teacher that I've respected and studied from afar and seen in person for over a decade. It felt right. It's a small step that I took to go towards the life that I want, to feel fulfilled in expressing what's inside me that wants to be expressed. I don't want to die with my music still in me. I want to be expressing that music and to be sharing the gifts that I have in my heart with the world. So I encourage you to, what in your life do you want to change? Just make yourself aware of it and accept it is there. And then just decide, what small action can I take to bring me to the place that I want to go? And don't focus on the mountain, just walk the path. The simplest of steps can bring great strides in your transformation. The answers will come, the signs and the signals will come, so you'll know your next steps. Ask a higher power, ask the universe, however you see a higher power, if you do or you don't, just put it out there. Please show me what is my next step in this path to get me to where I want to go. Don't even worry about who you're asking. If they're not a deity that you feel connected to, that's fine. Just put it out there. Just verbalize it. And you'd be surprised how quickly and how soon you'll start to see, if you're aware and you're open to catching the little breadcrumbs that come up now and again. And even if it's scary to step into that unknown of trying something different, however small it is, just recognize that. I don't remember who wrote the book, but there was a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Don't wait to be fully prepared or fully know what your path is going to take you before you start taking action. That's how you receive the information of what next steps to take, is by taking action, because each step will reveal itself as you start moving along the path. Well, thank you for listening to me today, and I hope this guidance has helped you in some way. Again, this is just the steps and the guidance that I have been following. If it feels right for you to try, give it a try and see what it can bring for you. I'm sending lots of love and blessings. Please write in the comments if you want to share your journey or maybe something you're struggling with on what steps to take. And myself or anyone else in the comments can help you along, because we're all in this together. Thank you and take care.